Welcome to Read Remark. I'm Beth. Today we're going to review Lincoln and the Bardo by George Saunders. So, Lincoln and the Bardo by George Saunders, aka the one in which I had to Google what the hell is a bardo. Turns out Bardo is a Tibetan word. It means that place between death and rebirth, when people are waiting to be reborn and wondering what sort of shape they will take. So I listened to the audiobook version of this based on the recommendation of everyone ever. So it has a whole lot of really big names pitching in. It's a full cast recording. It includes Nick Offerman, David Sedaris, Susan Sarandon, Julianne Moore, Patrick Stewart, or is it Patrick Wilson? One of the Patricks. I believe Ben Stiller. I think I heard Mindy Kaling's voice on there. George Saunders and what sounded like his entire extended family. Now, you could say that all of those voices in there could kind of create a cacophony, or it could be kind of distracting. I love all of the people. It was a little bit distracting, but not necessarily the different voices. I think the structure of it was a little bit distracting for me, just because what he did was brilliant. George Saunders brought in research from a ton of different places to create this narrative of what went down the night that Willie Lincoln passed away, based on a whole bunch of different party attenders, recollections, writings, books, journals, stuff like that. And so there's a line and then an attribution to who said it. So it's all of those attributions that kind of interrupted the flow for me and made it hard for me to really get into the narrative. So it was like, Willie went to bed, Dorothy Coonhart, based on her memoirs. The Lincolns went to check on him, Dorothy Coonhart's husband, based on his memoirs. There are just so many lines of attribution after every single sentence that is said, and so it made it really hard for me to get into the flow of it. Once I kind of trained my brain to just ignore the attributions as they were said, I was able to kind of put together the pieces of the story a little bit better, but still it was really hard to get into the flow. Here's the parts that did work for me really, really well. Nick Offerman as Lincoln. He was great, especially the parts where he's talking about the grief that he feels over the loss of his son Willie. It would be really easy to go maudlin with that. Nick didn't. He portrayed kind of a quiet devastation that tore him to his bones and then ground up even the bones. And then, of course, they mentioned Tad, and Tad died unreasonably young, one of their other sons. And then they talked about how the Lincoln children pretty much had the run of the White House and were just, everything they did was wonderful in the eyes of their father, Abe. And I can see why. I think I would be in those same shoes had I experienced what he experienced and been president and let my kids have the run of the White House. Okay, I'm digressing a lot here. I didn't see the print version of it, but depending on how he structures things, I could see how he could make it seem more of a narrative. Maybe if he put the attribution on the side and then a dividing line and then kind of like a table or columns or something without all the horizontal lines. Lincoln and the Bardo is George Saunders' first full-length novel. It's not a very long novel. Before this, his domain has been more in the short story realm. And so 10th of December is one of his more popular works. I've read that one and it's great. I think I like 10th of December a little bit better than Lincoln and the Bardo, but comparing the two doesn't seem really fair because it's kind of like comparing apples and bicycles. They're not the same at all. 10th of December is a really good book too. I would really highly recommend that you read that. I would give it 4, maybe 5 stars. It's a collection of stories. My favorite one is the Simplica Girl Diaries. Actually, that one is on the New Yorker's website for free. I'll link to that in the notes for this show so that you can go read it yourself for free and then be so impressed by it that you'll want to read the rest of the 10th of December by George Saunders, because it's just so visionary and great. The stories are kind of off the wall. They show people in different parts of their lives. Some of them seem good, some of them seem bad. Most of them seem conflicted but trying. So great recommendations from George Saunders, Lincoln and the Bardo, or if you want more of a sure bet, go for 10th of December. There you have it. Let me know what you think. I know there are a lot of big George Saunders fans out there, so I'd love to know what your favorite part of Lincoln and the Bardo was, or what your thoughts on the audiobook or the written book were in general. Leave comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel, all the good YouTube love. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Bye.